Been a long time. Been a long time coming. It's life or death with me now. But you know, there's no turning back now. This is what makes me. This is what I am.
Feel me?
Let's go.
You can hate me now,
QB.
but I won't stop now.
Real.
'Cause I can't stop now.
This is the Derek Stone Show. As always with me, my buddy House.
D?
All right. So, I'm glad we got back on the radio here. I've been waiting to talk about this. Every single station I turn on has Donald Sterling on it. Every single one.
Absolutely. It seems to be the elephant in the room for every sports show and every radio show that you hear. You can't help but bring up a topic, and of course, that's what people want to hear about.
We haven't discussed it yet, and I think it's going to take a lot of people by surprise because you know what's not out there?
What's that, sir?
Nobody is talking about Donald Sterling, the victim here.
Donald
I'm gonna do it.
Donald Sterling, the victim.
You know what?
The poor guy.
The poor
guy. All right, you got to explain that.
Okay, so there's some things just don't add up here. Some things just don't add up. First off, last I checked, aren't we the land of the free, home of the brave, and freedom of speech reigns, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but you can't say there's certain things you can't say in public. Did he say any of these things that we were chastising him for in public?
Did not.
Not in public.
Not in
Gotcha.
public.
Okay, so somebody's private conversations are able to be taken and used against him to the point where not just people are ruining his character, which, by the way, I'm sure his character's garbage. I mean, he's proven that in the past.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
I'm just
Long line.
talking about what he's dealing with right now. And to me, it just doesn't make sense why everybody's blasting on him for comments that he... And first off, I've read the comments.
Correct.
I didn't see the N-word in there anywhere.
Right.
Okay?
But
Not that it wasn't offensive. But
correct. You're not saying that those were not racially charged comments.
But you know what? Again, not to the point that they definitely could have been.
Right.
I mean,
right. Certainly.
He could have dropped some. And let's also remember, he is over 80 years old, correct?
Correct.
81?
Absolutely.
My grandpa is about that age. He grew up at a whole different age. He grew up in an age where he wasn't allowed to go to school with any mixed races.
Right.
He had separate bathrooms, separate
Right.
diners, and it doesn't make it right by any stretch of the imagination. But you are a product of your environment. You are a product of what you grow up in.
Absolutely. But to be at that point, you've got to know what you can say and can't say. Let me address the freedom of speech thing first. He did not violate any freedom of speech laws. The government did not come after him at all. He did not break a law. He has the right to say whatever he wants to say. No freedom of speech right was infringed. I mean, he wasn't arrested for it. He didn't break any government laws. What he did break was a code of conduct by the NBA, to which whenever you are a player or a referee or an owner or anybody that works for the NBA, you must sign to you're going to follow their constitution. And their constitution says you cannot do things that are detrimental to the league. And obviously, whenever 75% of your employees or the people that are working for you trying to make you money are black, and then you are going to say things like that, it could be a detriment to your league. That's what he broke. There was no freedom of speech law.
Okay, understandable. But
My point is, let's say you're the CEO for McDonald's and you have some guy that owns 10 stores, a franchisee, and he comes out and makes racially derogatory statements where, let's say in that area, 75% of the employees are black, and he makes comments against them where people are upset, threatening not to go to your stores anymore, and you're the CEO of McDonald's, do you say, hey, he's okay, he's allowed to say those things, he's 80? Or are you trying to make money? Like the NBA wants to make money. I mean, wouldn't you tell that guy, get rid of him, have him sell his franchise? Do you want the McDonald's name on those stores?
But is there not anything deeper than this? I mean, you look into it. I mean, the comments that were released were definitely something that looks like it was probed by his girlfriend, who,
Absolutely.
by the way, is part black.
Certainly, right,
Okay.
yes, right.
So, I mean, last I checked, people that are racist, they don't have black girlfriends.
Correct.
They don't have NAACP awards. They don't have that. So, again, and that's why I said there wasn't a whole bunch of, in my idea, violence type nasty words used in that.
No. I agree. I agree.
So I just don't think that the punishment is worth what the crime was here. I think that it was a situation where it was a private conversation. he was being extorted here for money in the way it
Correct.
looks like to me. I'm sure a lot of that's going to come out real soon, and he's going
Right.
to tell his side of the story. But it looks like he was extorted by either his girlfriend or his wife or both. And I think that it got taken to a point that it didn't have to be. And let me just throw conspiracy theory out here real quick. He's all upset about Magic Johnson. And to me, it sounds more like not so much that he is racist, but it sounds like he's a man who has some fear that his girlfriend is going to go maybe be with Magic Johnson.
Right.
And so that's what it sounds like. But also, Magic Johnson, now that this franchise has to be sold, Magic Johnson and his conglomerate of owners or millionaires that are the owners of the LA Dodgers, they were also a group that was trying to buy the LA Clippers.
Yes, that is correct.
So now you're looking at, like I said, there's a lot of leads, nothing solid.
Right.
But a lot of things pointing to the fact that maybe he was set up in this whole situation and kind of probed and pushed to make
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I could definitely see that in this situation, but I can't see. I got to get back to the original that you can't deny the man's a racist. I mean, you say, well, he's got a girlfriend that's half black. That's fine, but for him, going back, his track record is horrendous. Saying that, asking Raleigh Massimino, can you coach them ends when he was going on hiring? I mean, you can fill in the blank there. He didn't use the word ends, but he said that. He went back and said that he loves to rent to Koreans and Asians because he doesn't have to fix anything up. They'll just pay. He also said that he doesn't want to rent to blacks anymore because they make the apartments smell. Now, I mean, when you look at the history, and those are all real estate doings, they weren't directly... True. At the time, but I don't see where we can argue the fact that yes, he's a blatant racist, and I think that at this point in the NBA, I think they're trying to just make a statement. Hey, anybody else, if they give them a pass on this, I mean, I just think they had to make a statement for that, and I understand, like, we'll get to the conspiracy part with Magic Johnson in a second, but I think just going back to saying that this punishment is way too harsh, so now he's got to sell a franchise that he bought for $12 million, sell it for $750 million. The poor guy. I mean, there could be worse punishments than no jail time, no penalties, and making a huge profit.
Very true. And to tell you the truth, I'm not even sure how much he really enjoys being, the owner of this franchise. Matter of fact, I think back to, I don't know if it was a 30 for 30 or what I was watching on ESPN, but there was an interview with him where he was at one point, the top 3 biggest money producing teams, the LA Clippers.
Wow.
And I saw that little
Surprising.
tagline. I said, that's what I said.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
what? The Clippers. And again, this was 15 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever it was, that when the Clippers were garbage.
Right,
I mean,
right.
hot garbage,
Right.
pre all the superstars. And they talked about how much money he made. And he starts talking about how he shares, the rent with, or whatever it is, the mortgage type thing,
Right.
with the Lakers.
The Lakers are at
So
the
that's a
Forum.
big part of it. And then there is the fact that he gets all of the lottery picks. And these are guys that people want to watch. These are guys coming out
Right.
of college that are studs, and he's had quite a few of them coming through there.
Yes, he has. Absolutely.
And he said, that the fan base was real mad. Why do you trade all these guys off for more draft picks?
Right.
And he said, it's draft picks that end up putting butts in the seats.
Yeah, that's right.
And then when their contract's over and they want this big money, I'm going to get rid of them and let somebody else pay them the big money because I'm in it for the profit.
Sure. They're all there to make money.
Well, but I don't think so. I think there's a lot of guys. You know what? I think you look at a guy like owner of the Miami Heat.
Okay.
I think he's equally, if not more, a fan of basketball, and he wants to win. He wants trophies on the wall.
Certainly, like Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban's a great example.
Right. But
Mark Cuban doesn't give a crap about profit at the end of the day when it comes to the Mavericks. I honestly
Really?
I believe that if he could spend more money, if there wasn't
Right.
restrictions in place, he'd pay somebody like LeBron, he'd pay Kobe, he'd pay all of them to come. He'd have a $300 million salary
right.
cap.
Right.
But because he wants to win,
Right.
that's important to him. Having that,
Okay.
and so as a fan, I would appreciate that.
Absolutely.
But on the other side of that, I guess I do see that where I hate it. Means I hate the Steinbrenners.
Yeah, that's right.
that's
So
another
what you're
topic.
saying is that there are some owners that are owner first, businessman second, whereas people like Jerry Jones of the Cowboys would be businessman first, owner second. And so what you're saying that
Well, Jerry Jones definitely falls into. I think Donald Sterling is the businessman first, owner second.
Okay.
Jerry Jones, I think, definitely is the owner first, businessman second. I think he puts a lot of pride on saying, "I am the owner of this team. I run this team." This is, he has a lot personally, emotionally invested in that. In that
Right.
that
But
ego thing.
It's not like he's going out signing, like you said, the LeBrons and the Kobes and everything like Mark Cuban would do to bring him in. I mean, Jerry Jones is selling different names to the stadium. He's bringing in college football games to play in there. I mean, the guy said what Pepsi is the big sponsor.
He's a brilliant businessman, but he is a horrible GM.
Okay.
And so I think if he could get those guys, he would get those guys, but I don't think he can get those guys to come to Dallas. As far as a businessman, that Jerryland that he built there is just like a money mint.
Sure.
I mean,
the amount of the Super Bowl there.
Oh, then you got the NCAA tournament there.
That's right. A lot of college football.
Matter of fact, aren't we going to have the first non-BCS game championship?
I believe so.
There?
Yep, I believe so.
Okay.
Yep.
So he sets up all kinds of big money deals. He's a fantastic businessman. But getting back to the Donald Sterling thing, I don't know. I think a lot of people have said it, and it's kind of a cliche, but the slippery slope thing is.
Oh my God, have we heard that a lot?
It is.
Oh.
It is.
How dare you bring that up on our show too?
Maybe you're right. Maybe this was, and I didn't really think about it until you kind of put it in front of me. Maybe this is the straw that broke the back. Maybe they've been wanting to get rid of him for a long time.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Because you think about it, why would you even want to, if you're a racist, why would you even want to own a basketball team where 75 to, probably upwards of 80%.
That's right.
Are if not black, they're some kind of multiracial. They're not white. They're not whoever you're going to identify with.
Right.
If you want that, buy a hockey team.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But he didn't.
Not.
I can see where maybe the NBA for a long time wanted him out. And I heard the story yesterday where LeBron had said that he had an opportunity to go there and chose not to just because of Donald Sterling.
Wow.
So apparently it's been known for a long time, and I've just had my head in the sand or wasn't in the loop.
Well, let's go back to the punishment though, because even so, stating he is racist, but is it fair to maybe they banned him from everything? Now, he's still the owner. And my question as far as the punishment goes is if you're still the owner, but you're banned from everything, how do you sign free agents? I mean, isn't he the guy paying the free agents? I mean, who now writes that check? I mean, guys are going to come in and want to play there or whatever it is to sign guys or move players around. I mean, doesn't he have the final say being the owner on the money, where the money goes in every situation?
Well, I think that's where they say he has to sell. I don't think they're going to force him to sell because I'm sure there's some kind of legality issues there. But I think that you make it so hard for him to be a part of this.
Well, I think
what you can do that he has no choice but to sell. But like you were saying, House, I mean, he bought it for I heard 15.
Yeah,
12,
15, right in that range.
See, it was definitely under 20 million.
Right.
And now it's worth 700 million. I mean that's a big jump.
That's right.
He made his profit. He made a lot of money. So you're right. It's not a punishment per se, but I don't know that they can make you sell something.
Well, I think from what I understand is if the owners vote to a certain percentage, according to that constitution, you do have to sell. Like when you came into the league, if you are doing things so reckless that the league feels that they want you out and the other owners vote, I'm not sure what the percentage, 75% of the owners or whatever.
But what do they do when he says no? What do they do?
Yeah,
how do you physically make him sell something?
Yeah, I don't understand that. There has to be something where the NBA owns the team through him is all I can think of when it comes down to that. Because I thought the same thing. What if he just says no, I'm not going to do it? So
maybe the NBA, over the guys over there on Park Avenue, they decide they pay him the price basically.
Yeah, it's
and
hold
the paper until they find a suitable owner.
It's got to be when you sign on to buy a team that clause is in there that you either sell or you forfeit the team. And I think when it comes down to that point, obviously you're going to sell, you're not going to forfeit it. But I'm just curious, what if the owners don't vote that? So he's banned for life. The owners vote, and it doesn't come through and he's still the owner. I just don't understand who's going to do the day-to-day paying.
Well, so the only way that's going to happen is if the vote is anonymous vote.
Yes.
If it's a known vote, I guarantee there's no way 100% of those guys are going to vote against them because nobody in their right mind would have an employee base of 80% black and vote with this
Yeah.
guy right now.
That's right.
That's
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So if that vote comes up and he does, have to sell. Now, another question that I had too coming up was, can he sell to his son? Can he sell to his
Oh.
family? I mean, can he, or does he, get half the money and the wife takes over? Because the wife's still married. I mean, isn't she owner of that team also? Like if he's forced to sell, can she take it? I don't know. Does it have to come out of the family? I don't know any of these things. I guess we need, legal expert on that, but I'm just curious, what if
Where's
he sells
Lester
it?
Mon- Oh wait,
Yeah.
we're not a real show. I'm sorry. We're not part of the flagship. We don't get the Lester Munsons of the
that's
world.
right. That's right.
let me get my son who looks like a lawyer in
Yeah.
a suit. That's what
That's
I'll
right.
get.
Just talk deep and read the script.
Join us next time, Derek Stone Show.
You can hate me now,
QB.
but I won't stop